taking those shots, Ben Cherington was saying the other day. That's the way we're going to do it here. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Reds 2, Pirates 1. A very familiar script for the home team, meaning they got superlative starting pitching. Bailey Falter with 7 innings, 2 runs, both of those on a 2-run homer. More often than not, that's all it takes to beat this offense. This offense that had 4 hits last night while striking out 9 times, while deploying a whole bunch of 100, low 200 hitters in the bottom half of the order. Anyone who's eager for some sort of detailed analysis on that can feel free to listen to any other episode that I've done pretty much all summer. This past weekend, Charington on his weekly radio show was talking about the way he's been aggressively, in his mind, acquiring relievers, bringing in all kinds of new names, new faces, new arm slots, and then they're rolling them out there and see what they got. And if they get belted around, oh well, it's DFA time. If they look like they're okay, presumably they stick. So far, probably not coincidentally, the total number of those guys who've stuck is 0. And the same goes, also probably not coincidentally, for any hitters who've been brought along. You know how I'll more often than not bring up on this program that these people running baseball ops are not serious, are not experiencing any sense of urgency right now. And I'll give a little example here or there, and I'll mostly, as is the case with a lot of points that I try to make, leave it up to you to put 2 and 2 together yourself. In this particular instance, Cherington did everyone a favor of just saying the quiet part out loud. Here is the entirety of the quote regarding his approach, giving it fair context here, to bringing in relief pitchers. Quote, "We're going to keep taking shots. We're going to keep taking shots on less proven guys who have pitch qualities that we believe can translate to major league success. Some of these are going to be younger pitchers like Harmon Wojcinski and Kyle Nicholas who come up through the system. Some of them are going to be external. And over time, we're going to hit on enough of those, and it's going to add up to a good bullpen." I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I can't get through it with a straight face. I can't get through some of them are going to be external, and over time, we're going to hit on enough of those, and it's going to add up to a good bullpen. He's in tryout mode. You know, in video games, when you're playing like GM or whatever, you can choose, novice, tryout, beginner, expert level, whatever. He's in tryout mode. For him, this is all just a great big process of throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. And over time, we're going to hit on enough of those. That's the approach. I don't know, my friends, that it even crosses his mind to say, where can I get a good bullpen guy? Yeah, I know I've got David Bednar, and I know I've got Colin Holderman having an outstanding season, and I've got Aroldis Chapman that I paid a lot of money for. And I was serious about adding to the bullpen when I handed $10.5 million to Chapman. But what's the rules here? When you see that your team has a clear need or multiple clear needs, while you also watch the hardest possible commodity to acquire for any team, regardless of payroll or other circumstances, in your starting pitching is outright excelling. The Pirates aren't good at starting pitching. They're not very good at starting pitching. They're excelling. They're elite, arguably, even with Jared Jones's recent bumps, even with the injury to Martin Perez. Elite. And yet the approach to acquiring players remains not one iota different from where it was in 2020 when they came aboard. If you think I'm exaggerating that point, please feel free to counter it. Tell me how the method of acquisition right now is any different than it was in Cherington's first year, because this is exactly what he was doing then. It was throw everything against the wall, find out who sticks, yay us. Or if no one sticks because no one's any good, oh well, we're going to keep on trying. We're going to keep our noses down and keep working. Go get a good pitcher. You know what else you can do while you're on the phone with somebody? Go get a good hitter. I can't say this often enough. You have trade commodities here. You have prospects to give up. Now, do I want to give up a starting pitcher prospect? A decent one out of whatever, AA, AAA, to get a relief pitcher? No. Am I willing to give up something to get a relief pitcher, a good one? Or how did Charington generously refer to these people? Non-proven. Okay, go get one who's proven. Because at the end of the day, these scenarios, whether they're hypothetical or not, that seem to be appropriately driving the fans nuts, aren't all that dramatic. You don't need to overhaul the franchise to go get yourself a nice, proven reliever and a middle-of-the-order bat. You really don't. The truth is, these transactions won't even be felt in Pittsburgh in a negative way because you're going to be moving people out of the minors. But that's okay. That's okay. These games, I guess, according to all of the egghead statistical people surrounding Cherington, don't count as much as the ones later in the season. Like, they're not all 1/162 of the season. These count a little bit less, so there's time to wait. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Jamie, who says, "Welcome back, DK. I was very happy to see the Daily Shots return to my morning. I do have a J1Q. I'm visiting Pittsburgh for the first time in my life this September from England. I've been a fan for 11 years now, and I'll be going to 3 Pirates games at PNC Park. In your opinion, what things can I do to really enhance my baseball experience? Are there sections of the stadium, certain activities, etc., that you would recommend?" Jamie, if you're coming to Pittsburgh on a pure baseball trip, as it sounds like you are, I'll give you a very different version of the advice that I give to people who are just coming to see the city. That said, you also need to come to see the city. You need to get up Mount Washington. You need to ride the inclines. You need to come through downtown, see our historic buildings, etc., etc. I'm not going to let you off the hook on that. Now, when you get to the ballpark, the one recommendation that I've made more than any other to outsiders, to visitors over the years, is don't sit in one place. Get around. Yeah, I know you're into the baseball, so you actually want to see the game and all that other stuff. You can see it from anywhere. Move around. If that means buying 3 completely different types of tickets for your 3 games, then do that. If it means roaming around, as a lot of fans will do, by the way. A lot of fans will go to PNC Park and never sit down. You can watch an entire game from the rotunda above left field. You can watch an entire game, a lot of people don't know this, from inside the Roberto Clemente wall. Now, be mindful that there's also handicapped seating and others out there, so don't be getting in people's way. But you can watch through a mesh fence, a green mesh fence that's out there in the middle of the wall. And of course, you're going to want to make your way to the upper decks to get the good views of downtown, the bridges, and all else. The most amazing thing about PNC Park as a structure is how it feels like a different experience everywhere that you are in there. Now, if you're going for just baseball, as in nothing but baseball, into that ballpark, get yourself a ticket on the third base side, get as close to the dugout as possible, because that's where you'll obviously have the closest experience to the Pirates themselves, to the players, to Derek Shelton as he's being booed coming off the mound and pulling a starter either too early or too late. And if you turn around, if you think at some point or other during the series to turn around and look up to the press box, I'll wave down. And speaking as someone who's made many visits to London, and I'm not counting my stopover at Heathrow the other day, it'll be our pleasure to have someone from England in town to see our baseball club. Maybe the games will even mean something by then. Who knows? Actually, wait. Those are the only games that mean something, right? These don't mean a thing. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. I'll be headed to the ballpark myself this afternoon for the series finale. I'll be writing a column about it for DK Pittsburgh Sports. Hope you check that out. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.